thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. In what has become a near daily experience, citizens in Israel's south ran for cover this morning as rocket warning sirens blared. Rocket attacks have been frequently coming out of Gaza ever since Israel pulled out of the coastal enclave in 2005. Hamas, an internationally recognized terror organization, now runs the strip. Thankfully, since the war between Hamas and Israel in 2014, rocket attacks have become less frequent, and today, according to the Israeli Defense Forces, the sirens were a false alarm entirely. The sirens sounded shortly before 8 o'clock in the morning. It is not yet clear at the moment what caused the sirens to go off in the area near the Kerem Shalom crossing in the south of the Gaza Strip. Habayit Yehudi chairman and education minister Naftali Bennett is calling for the annexation of Ma'ale Adumim in response to Friday's UN Security Council resolution. The resolution, on which the U.S. abstained, calls for a halt to Jewish building in Judea and Samaria and claims major swaths of Jewish and Israeli areas as occupied territory. Bennett said that Israel had already tried the way of the left, and that the time has come to try a different path: sovereignty over a maximum of area with the minimum of Palestinians. He said his party will soon submit the Ma'ale Adumim bill to the Knesset. Public Security Minister Gilad Erdan agreed, saying last night that the time had come to annex parts of the territories unilaterally. He slammed the UN vote, saying the Middle East is burning, and who do they choose to attack? Israel. It's hypocrisy and shamelessness. He called on the government to cut off all funding to the UN, announce the immediate annexation of the settlement blocks, and renew construction throughout the land. The controversial Knesset bill that would legalize some 4,000 housing units in the West Bank is now back on the table. Following the UN Security Council resolution denouncing Israeli settlements as illegal, the final vote on the so-called regulation bill, which had been postponed to after President-elect Donald Trump was sworn in, could now be brought to a vote before Obama leaves office on January 20th. Quote, "We are done playing nice," a coalition source told the Times of Israel. Security Council Resolution 2334, which passed 14-0 on Friday, with the United States abstaining, declared all settlements over the Green Line to be void of any legal validity. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was livid over the vote, saying the decision was biased and shameful, but that Israel will withstand it. Bethlehem was jam-packed last night as thousands of visitors came to the birthplace of Jesus to celebrate Christmas. Star Street, the main avenue through the town's ancient section, was adorned with festive lights peppering its walls and storefronts, while merchants sold traditional Palestinian foods and holiday treats. Local choirs sang traditional Christmas songs in both English and Spanish, as spectators in warm jackets and hats sang along with the tunes. Palestinian Authority security forces stood guard at the entrance to Manger Square, the site at the Church of the Nativity, where it is believed that Jesus was born. They checked visitors' bags, while others watched the square from atop nearby buildings. Israeli officials said that 120,000 tourists would travel to Israel and the West Bank this month, including 60,000 Christian pilgrims. The numbers are an uptick from last year due to the increase in recent violence. Over the weekend, 3 separate terror attacks were carried out across Israel. Terrorism in the form of indiscriminately attacking Jews with knives, cars, guns, and any other means available have been a steady occurrence in some communities across the Jewish state since October of 2015. The first attack of the weekend was Friday, just south of Jerusalem in the West Bank settlement of Efrat. An Israeli man was stabbed twice in the back while walking outside his home with his wife. The terrorist escaped after the attack and is believed to be surrounded by the resulting search. Later that night, an Israeli soldier was injured in the leg during a raid in a Palestinian refugee camp. Both the man from Efrat and the soldier are lightly wounded and have received treatment. On Saturday, a 35-year-old Palestinian woman was arrested in Jerusalem for an attempted stabbing attack. She arrived through the checkpoint when patrolling officers saw she was carrying a knife. She was arrested and there were no injuries. Later that night, Israeli security forces responded to calls of riots resulting from the funeral of the terrorist named Khaled Ahmed Alian Khalili. While executing riot control measures, a border police officer, an IDF officer, and IDF soldier suffered minor injuries. Khalili was killed in October when he injured 3 police officers as he drove his car into a group on patrol. He was shot at the scene. Finally, just this morning, a suspected Palestinian gunman opened fire near the settlement of Beit El, just north of Ramallah. There were no reported injuries, and security forces are searching for the shooter. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.